Tonight's main event for the IPW Hardcore Champion, you got Axis here, led to the ring by Lexus. Axis goes right at the Prince of Darkness, the hardcore legend, Kevin Sullivan, who made his name in the business right here in Florida with the old Florida Championship Wrestling, and he's taking it right to Axis, the IPW Hardcore Champion. Kevin Sullivan don't care about the fans, he don't care about the building, he's here to destroy IPW.
Well, you said Kevin Sullivan is known all throughout Florida. It looks like he's taken Axis all throughout the state of Florida here.
Kevin Sullivan is a legend, not only in Florida, and look at him knocking the heads of Lexus and Axis. He don't care if it's a woman, he don't care if it's a child, he don't care if it's anybody. He's going to destroy Axis and take home that hardcore title. Look at the fans of IPW. They didn't believe Kevin Sullivan was going to be at the Rage in the Cage. They couldn't believe it when they went to Ticketmaster, but sure as hell enough, there he is, right at the Pinellas Expo Center.
They better believe it now, and Axis better believe it. You know, all day he told me he was so psyched. He was so psyched, and now, I don't think he's psyched anymore.
You can't intimidate Axis. You might be able to take him down for a short time, but you see him firing back and grabbing a chair of his own and literally throwing it at Kevin Sullivan. The man who brought Purple Haze out of the sea with Fallen Angel, and he spoke to the lady with the third eye as he ate the cosmic.
Hey, Ronnie, we got this. This is 2002. Axis versus Kevin Sullivan. They're at the concession stand. This isn't back in 1980 whatever. Come on.
Thanks for getting me back on track. I was starting to lose my mind there.
Look, Kevin Sullivan just threw Axis over the concession stand railing. What is going on?
I think he's heard about those IPW exclusive bratwursts, but this isn't the WrestlePlex like on May 4th for Plex Pandemonium. Look at the fans. They're thrilled. They said, I want a sody pop. I want a pretzel. Hold the soap, please. Wait a second. They're destroying each other.
I told you. They're going outside. No, wait. I can't tell.
They're going into the women's restroom. They heard that there's sanitary napkins, 3 for $0.25. And if they got to do that to stick it on their head to stop the bloodshed, that's what they're going to do now.
That's exactly what they're going to do, Ron. Come on, keep with it here. And now they're going over by the vending tables. And what... You know,
Bobby Rogers from FOW, he's over there trying to sell mirrors, beads, and trinkets, and he can't make a buck, and he says, let me get the hell out of here because I got the biggest show of my life the night after the Rage in the Cage. But how do I compare with this madness? Please let me get out.
Kevin Sullivan is throwing a broken table on top of Axis. That's how big it gets. He's just throwing a broken table. He doesn't care. Nobody cares.
And you see the NWA Florida president, Joe Price, looking on in glee while the rest of the crowd is looking on in horror. You got to wonder about, look at the
wow, did you see that punch?
Hey, Kevin Sullivan, don't be afraid to punch our hardcore champion right in the face.
And then he headbutts him right in the face right back. Look, this is just like a bunch of this, I don't know.
It's madness. It's insanity. It's the Rage in the Cage. It doesn't matter. Look, Axis is one of the strongest individuals in IPW Hardcore, and he resorts to leveling Kevin Sullivan with a chair. And Star Stevens, there is no other ref in IPW that could possibly control this match. No, he isn't controlling it, but at least he's trying. He's got his hair pulled back for good measure, and he's right in the middle of Kevin Sullivan and Axis. This is what the fans of IPW Hardcore want.
Axis gives it right back to him.
He's leveling him with that pipe. He's laid it on Kevin Sullivan. He's not afraid of the veteran. He's not afraid of the likes of New Jack, who's coming to IPW. New Jack heard about this bloodbath. He heard about Abdullah the Butcher being in the house, and you see O.D.D, the longtime manager of Kevin Sullivan. He was around back in the days of championship wrestling from Florida. He was there with Locke. He was there with the chairman of the board. For God's sake, he was there when the Purple Haze was running roughshod all over Florida.
Axis goes for the big boot. You know, as you were saying,
Trio woe.
Wow.
Trio woe.
I haven't seen this one in a very long time from Kevin Sullivan. Where'd he go?
Oh, my God. Oh! Right to the midsection of Axis.
Are we going to see the double stomp? Yes, we are.
The stomp. That's got to be it for our hardcore champion. Kevin Sullivan covers the...
Star 1, 2... No, and he kicks out of the double stomp.
Not tonight, Kevin Sullivan. You got to hook the leg of that young man. You got to hook the leg of the hardcore champion. This isn't like the old days when Bob Roop would lay down and look at the lights for you. This is Axis. This is IPW, and that is the Golden Spike.
That is the famed Golden Spike. Kevin Sullivan has it. Axis is just doesn't even know. You know,
he doesn't know what he's gotten into, Naphali.
Star's trying to talk some sense into Kevin Sullivan, but, well, we all know. Wait a minute.
Abdullah the Butcher sticking his nose and he gets a spike. Oh, my God, this is like a dream come true, Naphali. All I need now is for SD Jones to come down from the rafters and destroy all of them. There's O.D.D, who's going to represent IPW Hardcore in the World Extreme Cup in Japan. There's Axis, your IPW Hardcore champion. And there's Star Stevens in the middle of the ring saying, what the hell is going on here at Rage in the Cage?
Abby hasn't even gotten in the ring yet, and Jeff is just going to town on him. As you said before, though, both Jeff and Axis have to deal with, you know, the original gangsta, New Jack.
New Jack coming to IPW. Again, he heard about Abdullah Butcher. He heard about O.D.D.
And Star
Stevens gets leveled. Apparently, there's no finish in the match to Kevin Sullivan and Axis, and still your champion is Axis, because we've also went into this huge match, the main event of the Rage in the Cage. The O.D.D. Jeff Bradley, the man legendary for the bloodshed and violence that he reigned throughout ECW, that he brought to Puerto Rico, and Abdullah Butcher, the madman from the Sudan, with his manager, Honest John Cheatham, who I can't stand, who makes me sick to my stomach. Naphali, I love this crap.
So do I. And so does Jim Bragg, as he got in there and said, if Star's down, what the heck, I'm going to jump in there.
He's marking out. He wasn't even scheduled to referee this match, but nobody else had the guts back there. The mullet Rich was getting his hair fixed. El Masco aficionado was back there marking out to all the other masked individuals. But the man, the gentleman Jim Bragg, the 73-year-old constipated veteran of IPW.
Did you see that? Bradley just bit him.
He just bit him right on the forehead. The flesh off of the skull of the madman from the Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher, who has been wrestling since 1959, where he started out as a sidekick, as a lackey to the original.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my God.
You talked about having a crimson mask. Well, look at that. Abdullah is just, I think he has shed blood on every square inch of this earth.
The good thing about Abdullah the Butcher, the great thing about Abdullah the Butcher, he's in there going to war with the O.D.D. Jeff Bradley. And from everybody that I've talked to since Rage in the Cage, he's doing everything he can to pull in O.D.D. into All Japan Pro Wrestling. He's doing everything he can to bring this feud back to Puerto Rico. He called Jeff Bradley Bruiser Bradley because he reminded him of Bruiser Brody, the hardcore legend. He begged Jeff Bradley. He says, you go to Japan, you're Bruiser Bradley, you give them the huts.
Oh, look, it's the fork. He has the fork. He's not going to do it, is he?
Of course he's going to do it. He's going to stick it right into the skull of Jeff Bradley, who gets knocked backwards, and he's back there. He doesn't know what he's in the ring with. This isn't Invader. This isn't Carlos Colon. This is Abdullah the Butcher, the most violent man in the history of professional wrestling.
Wow, did it again. You know, you say Jeff Bradley looks like Bruiser Bradley. Well, he has to be feeling like it right now. You know, just in the ring with Abby, taking the fork to the head. Wow, it's just, like you said, this is a dream come true.
It's like going back in time when I used to watch Bruiser Brody and Abdullah Butcher tear it through world class. They used to absolutely destroy the Dallas Sportatorium. They used to bleed buckets. They would use anything they could to get their hands on a weapon. Just like right now in the middle of the ring. Look at the amount of bloodshed pouring out of the head of Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah the Butcher knows he's in for a fight. Oh my God, Jeff Bradley's convulsing in the corner from the loss of blood.
Wow, this is amazing. Somebody, you know, we say anything goes here, but come on, Ron, something has to give. These two have to be stopped.
Something does give. It's the flesh wrapped around their skull when they batter each other with now some cane handed to him by Honest John. He levels the O.D.D.
That's a Buddha-Dean's cane. He just happened to be left here from the Kevin Sullivan match.
A Buddha-Dean running for his life from Axis when Kevin Sullivan and him
right
brought to the back. Oh my, come on, Bradley. You're going to Japan to represent IPW and Big Japan Pro Wrestling. Abdullah the Butcher has toured Big Japan many times, and he has wrestled in the World Extreme. Look at the amount of blood poured on it. And the referee gets leveled. I wish I could claim I was sick to my stomach, but I'm marking out. This is a dream come true. This is Rage in the Cage.
Yes, this is what we promised everybody what Rage in the Cage would be. This is not Rage in the Cage 1 or 2 or 3, but this was Rage in the Cage 4. 4 years of violence from IPW, just like this.
This is the kind of violence, Naphali. And here comes the...
I said it needs to be broken up.
And what the hell is Mark Zoe thinking? And what are you thinking getting in the... Naphali, the next night, me and you are in the middle of the ring with Abdullah the Butcher, Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes, and Kevin Sullivan. You think you would have learned tonight to not stick your name? What are you thinking, brother?
I was thinking, hey, if he's talking to Jeff Bradley about going to Japan, I got to stick my nose in there. But that was obviously the wrong thing to do.
Forget everything I just said. That's pretty damn good thinking. I should have probably put myself in the middle of this match and got tore apart by Abdullah the Butcher and the O.D.D. I don't care what it takes. I love IPW Hardcore Wrestling. Sometimes I'm not the most popular. Right now, 911 Incorporated happens to be one of the biggest babyface contingents in IPW. It doesn't matter. I love this business. I love this company. And Abdullah the Butcher isn't going to come in and destroy somebody like Jeff Bradley and have our locker room stand back and watch.
You know, not only is Jeff Bradley fighting Abby and Abby fighting Jeff Bradley, they're fighting every single one of us outside just to get back to each other.
There's a former member of the Snackback, Kubiak, making his big return to IPW, and he finds himself in the middle of Jeff Bradley and Abdullah the Butcher. What are you guys? You're not even doing anything to stop him. You're standing there watching. Admit it, Nap.
Of course,
you were
yes, I was. I mean, I had the best seat in the house right there on the apron.
You're always thinking, brother. Sure, I got that 3-match win streak over you, but you are the Florida Unified Tag Team Champion, and you found yourself in the middle of Abdullah the Butcher and Jeff Bradley right there at the Pinellas Expo Center at Rage in the Cage 4. This is easily, you've seen some violent stuff. You've been in the middle of some of the most hardcore matches in our history, but you got to admit, Naphali, this takes the cake.
This is as bloody as it gets. This is the epitome of what IPW Hardcore is all about.
This is what they're going to see at the Outer Limits in Bradenton. This is what they're going to see at the Florida WrestlePlex. May 1st in Bradenton, May 3rd at the WrestlePlex, May 4th up at the Crystal River National Guard Armory, and don't forget, Naphali, May 8th at the Dallas Bull, where the hardcore giant Ron Niemi and Jet Jaguar faces off against Naphali and Kamikaze to renew that violent feud.
Please.
Look at there's
their mullet. He
He's over there hanging out with the Diamond Dolls girls at their vendor table. He's like, hey, wait a second, there's a match going on. Hey, look, it's Abdullah the Butcher and Jeff Bradley absolutely annihilating
That's
each other.
the IPW booth.
Somebody paid $1,000 for that vendor table, only to have it leveled by O.D.D. getting thrown over the top. And look at this guy's like, brother, I've had a lot of beer, and I'm going to stand in front of Abdullah the Butcher trying to talk to him right now. Bad move. And look at Fidel Sierra. You want to talk about a long history? Abdullah the Butcher goes right at him. Wow. Like a page right out of the World Wrestling Council from Puerto Rico. Cuba doesn't matter. He's over there trying to hustle his autograph. And there goes
the wall.
The building's literally falling apart. The Pinellas Expo Center will never be the same. They're not sure they want us back. We're renegotiating our contract. I hate every one of them. I had to beat the hell out of them to get our money out of them because Abdullah the Butcher, Jeff Bradley, stiff bastards like Ron Niemi and Naphali, we destroyed it. This was Rage in the Cage. This was the most violent IPW. This is the best there is.